What's up? Hey guys, it's Jerome here. And I just started this new show called The Hollow. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the overall arc of the episode. So, in episode 1, it's these three kids have no clue how old they are, their names, whatever. Eventually, they figure out that they have these little snippets of paper in their pockets that say their names. The girl's name is Mira. The two boys' names are Adam and Kai. And they basically have to type on this old-fashioned typewriter because of the stones that come out of the wall. And it's based on a sequence when you type on there. So they have to basically figure this out. So then you figure out that they eventually figure it out. They climb up the stone wall. They break the gate to get through the vent. They finally come up through this dome, leading them to wilderness. Or I should say outdoors with trees, I guess. Pine trees, whatever you want to call them. They eventually just start walking and they go just a random direction and then they find an electrical fence. So they also figure out that they can't get over the fence. So they have to go back into the woods and they hear a song or some type of music playing and they find a house. So they start searching through the house and basically they find a few things, something that may be Easter eggs later on in the series, etc. But they find this bag, they find this map, and it basically shows them like, hey, this is where that is, let's go. And there's a small argument that happens, which I will get into it when I talk about people's character, personalities, and designs and stuff like that. But that happens. These monster-looking dogs start chasing after them, so they have to run out behind the house. And they basically are able to shut off the electrical fence, and they're able to open the door because of the keys that they found in the house. So they start running, and they almost run off a cliff. But they meet this dude that is purple bluish, and he's basically like, I can tell you what's happening, and basically is like, oh, well, if you want to get away from those dogs, you need to give me something in return. And they're like, oh, well, what do you want in return? He was like, just know it's a favor. And they're like, fine, fine. And he's like, what's the magic word? And everybody's like, what the hell do you mean what the magic word is? And then he's like, what's the magic word? And then Adam's like, yes, like, please help us, da 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 da. They get teleported and basically they end up in this desert like area. What am I talking about? Area. It seems like an entirely different world. And Adam wakes up with blurred eyes and he sees these like ox looking humanoid creatures and they're basically speaking in another language. And that's pretty much it for the arc of that's pretty much for the arc of episode 1. So we're just going to start with Mira first in episode 1 and just my impressions. So we get a moment in the episode, specifically in the beginning, where she's able to solve the puzzle pretty easily because if she didn't solve the puzzle, they all would be dead. But we're assuming that she's good at puzzles. I don't know what type of ability that is. I don't know where they're going with that, but she also has the ability to speak to animals or know what animals are feeling. I have no clue what that ability is called either, so if anybody could let me know in the comments, that would be pretty cool. But other than that, I think Mira's character was actually pretty cool. I think she seems more laid back than any of the other characters. I think that she has a lot to give, but she didn't give much in the first episode. Not like the other two did. But she did have a short outburst, which kind of caused another situation to happen, which was basically monster dogs coming to pretty much kill them. And that's pretty much all I got from Mira, to be honest. I think I need to see more, obviously, to get more of what she's about. But from this episode, I don't mind her. Switching to Adam, Adam gives me self-righteous vibes just a tad. He didn't show much, but it was just a small twinkle in his eye that made me think of Captain America, and I'm like, I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it. Kai mentioned it, but Kai is fucking annoying. Like, I was already annoyed by the end of the episode with Kai, but we'll get to him in the next segment. But with Adam, he has enhanced agility and physical strength. I don't know if it's super strength, but I know it seems stronger than the average human. There are a few points where he does a few things that are essential to the plot, obviously. Kind of keeps the episode interesting, I guess. Because he's kind of asking all the right questions, just a tad. Well, what am I talking about? Just a tad, a lot, actually. There was a lot that he was doing in the episode that kind of kept the plot going in the first episode. But anyways, he is the first one that found the map, and he's like, "Oh, like this is gonna tell us how to turn off the what is it? Electrical fence." But then him and Kai get into this unnecessary argument, but Kai started it, but Adam started yelling, and it just escalated from that. And then Mira got mad and then caused the situation that I talked about previously to happen. At the end of the episode, he basically says pretty please to this bluish, greenish guy that seems like a genie. That's what I get from him. And he teleported them to this like desert world, and I guess we're looking through Adam's eyes to see that it's these like ox humanoid creatures, and they're basically speaking in another language. But overall, I think Adam may or may not be one of my favorite characters. I still have to feel him out. I think Mira probably is, potentially could be too. Like, not a bad character, but like, for as of right now, I only really like Mira, and Adam would come second, because Kai is definitely dead ass last. But yeah. Now to Kai. Kai pissed me off in the first episode. Like, what the hell? He has a moment where they have to get out of the room that they're in because it's filling up with poison gas, as we assume, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to be behind you, Adam, because your butt's gonna be in my face." I'm like, get in the fucking vent and stop complaining. Because then Mira comes up behind Adam and Kai, and she's like, "I need to help up." And they're like, "Oh." So he's basically in the vent. Adam and Kai are butt to butt. So Kai is facing Mira, and they run into each other, and it's just stupid. He's like, "Oh, if there's ever something that is in the vent, I can get away faster." Just stupid shit. So they go through this dome, and he's basically like, "Well, where do we go?" "Well, I'm going to choose this way." It's like, I guess there's nothing to really say about it, but then he starts freaking the fuck out, and then he's like, "Oh, did you guys hear that?" And Mira's like, "I stepped on a twig." And he's like, "Oh." He was just very jittery, and like, I get it, but at the same time, like, shut up. Shut up. No. No, I can't. I cannot. So we get further into the episode, and he steps on a twig himself, and he starts freaking out again. And Adam and Mira are looking at him like, "You stepped on a twig," and he's like, "Oh, well, that's basically, that's not important." And I'm just like, you know what, whatever. Then they find the electrical gate. His dumb ass basically jumps on the gate and electrocutes himself. But that's when we figure out that he has some type of enhanced durability, which is his power, I'm assuming. So, yeah. But he basically just rushed into it. Like, because if he didn't have durability, he probably would have just been fried. He just would have been fried, and that would have been it. So then, obviously, they go to the house, start looking. So this is when Kai really started to aggravate me. Because he's like, oh, well, I'm ready to go. And I'm ready to go right now, and I'm just going to leave you guys. Mind you, Mira and Adam are really searching this house because clearly something broke out of the back of the house cages because they were like indented or broken out of. So something like jumped out. And basically, Kai starts freaking out. He's like, well, I'm ready to go. And Adam's like, look, we're trying to search for things so that we know what we're dealing with and how to get out. And Kai's just like, just insisting and insisting on leaving. And Mira's like, just give us a second. And he's like, well, I'm just going to leave you guys. And Adam's like, you know what? Bye. Go. Like, no one's stopping you. He's like, well, I know that. And Adam's like, then go then. Like, you don't need to keep telling us. Like, and then Kai's like, fine. He goes out the door, starts walking, and then he hears the dogs. And he runs back in. And then Adam's like, we need to go. So they start running. I can't. Kai is my least favorite in this episode. I think he either is going to have to grow on me, because if he is going to be like that for the rest of season 1, he's just going to be at the bottom of the barrel. And that's really all I got to say about him. But that's all I have for you guys today. Pop that bubble and subscribe, and I will check you guys later.